Sanctions on International Criminal Court. Israel forming up plans to displace Palestinians from Gaza. Good afternoon and salam Malaysia Madani. I'm Daryl Baptist and you are watching World Today. US President Donald Trump on Thursday authorized economic and travel sanctions targeting people who work on International Criminal Court or ICC investigations of US citizens or US allies such as Israel, repeating actions he took during his first term. The move coincides with a visit to Washington by Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who is wanted by the ICC over the war in the Gaza Strip. It was unclear how quickly the US would announce names of people sanctioned. The sanctions include freezing any US assets of those designated and barring them and their families from visiting the United States. The 125-member ICC is a permanent court that can prosecute individuals for war crimes, crimes against humanity, genocide, and the crime of aggression against the territory of member states or by their nationals. The United States, China, Russia, and Israel are not members. During the first Trump administration in 2020, Washington imposed sanctions on then-prosecutor Fatou Bensouda and one of her top aides over the ICC's investigation into alleged war crimes by American troops in Afghanistan. Israel's defense minister ordered the army on Thursday to prepare for what he called a voluntary departures from Gaza, as President Donald Trump ruled out sending U.S. troops to the territory. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz said he had instructed the military to formulate a plan to remove Palestinians from Gaza. Trump had earlier proposed moving Palestinians out of Gaza, sparking uproar from leaders in the West Asia and beyond. His administration later appeared to backtrack, with Secretary of State Marco Rubio saying any transfer of Gazans would be temporary. The United Nations warned any forced displacement of Palestinians would be tantamount to ethnic cleansing. Trump, however, doubled down on his proposal on Thursday, saying that the Gaza Strip would be turned over to the United States by Israel at the conclusion of fighting. Hamas's spokesman condemned Trump's statement as absolutely unacceptable, amounting to an open declaration of intent to occupy the territory. Palestinians residing in the coastal territory have vowed to remain. For them, any attempt to push them out of Gaza recalls the Nakba, or catastrophe, the mass displacement of Palestinians in 1948 by Zionist movement. Britain will oppose any efforts to move Palestinians from the Gaza Strip to neighbouring Arab states against their will.
We would oppose, Mr. Speaker, any effort to move Palestinians in Gaza to neighbouring Arab states against their will. There must be no forced displacement of Palestinians nor any reduction in the territory of the Gaza Strip. Palestinian civilians should be able to return to and rebuild their homes and their lives. That is a right guaranteed under international law.
China also echoes the same sentiment. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Guo Jiakun said Gaza belongs to the Palestinian people and is an inseparable part of the Palestinian territory instead of a political bargaining chip.
中方坚定支持巴勒斯坦人民的民族合法权利，始终认为巴人治巴是加沙战后治理必须坚持的重要原则。 反对针对加沙民众的强制迁移。中方愿与国际社会一道努力，以两国方案为根本出路，推动巴勒斯坦问题早日得到公正的政治解决，即建立以1967年边界为基础，以东耶路撒冷为首都，享有完全主权的独立的巴勒斯坦国。
Guo made the comments after a regular press briefing in response to US President Donald Trump's proposal to clean out and take over the war-torn Palestinian enclave, which has met with widespread international condemnation. Ukraine said on Thursday that it was ready to open a humanitarian corridor to let hundreds of Russian civilians living in border areas seized by its army return to Russian-controlled territory if Moscow requests one. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said in a statement that they have yet to receive a corresponding request from Moscow. More than 1,500 civilians are still living in areas of Russia's western Kursk region that Ukraine's army seized in a shock cross-border offensive launched in August. Rare anger at the Russian authorities has since been growing among those who have lost contact with family members believed to be trapped without communication on the other side of the front line. The offer to help facilitate their return comes as Russia said Ukrainian forces had attempted a fresh offensive in Kursk, with Zelensky praising his fighters who have controlled swathes of Russian territory for the last 6 months. Russia has been clawing back ground, but Ukraine still occupies dozens of border settlements around the regional hub of Sudza. Rwandan-backed M23 said Thursday it wanted to liberate all of Congo in its first public meeting since seizing the eastern city of Goma after deadly clashes, as its fighters advanced towards another regional capital. After capturing Goma, the main city in North Kivu province last week, the M23 and Rwandan troops launched a new offensive on Wednesday in a neighboring province, breaking a ceasefire it had declared unilateral. The M23 anti-governmental group had said in declaring the humanitarian ceasefire that it had no intention of taking control of Bukavu or other localities. Humanitarian and local sources said on Thursday that Congolese forces were bracing for an assault in the town of Kavumu, which hosts the province's airport and lies about 30 km from Bukavu. Equipment and troops are being evacuated to avoid being captured by the advancing M23 and its Rwandan allies. The fall of Kavumu, the last barrier before Bukavu, would be another stinging setback for the army and government of the DRC. Corneille Nangaa, the head of Political Military Alliance, which includes the M23, said that the armed group would drive out Congolese President Félix Tshisekedi. The Democratic Republic of Congo issued an international warrant of arrest for Nangaa on Wednesday. The battle for Goma killed at least 2,900 people, the United Nations said on Wednesday, in a much higher toll than previously announced. In more than 3 years of fighting, the M23's lightning offensive against Goma was a major escalation in the mineral-rich region, scarred by relentless conflict involving dozens of armed groups over 3 decades. Up next, 61 people, including 1 Malaysian, lured by call center scammers rescued in Myanmar. Stay tuned. Welcome back to World Today. More than 2 million US federal workers were hours away from a deadline Thursday to quit with 8 months' pay or risk being fired on the spot in a plan by billionaire Elon Musk to gut the civil service. Musk, the world's richest person and a top donor to President Donald Trump, is in charge of a free-ranging department of government efficiency that aims to radically downsize federal agencies. According to US media, a small proportion of staffers, up to 40,000, had so far accepted the deal.
Anticipating? Well, the last time I checked in with Office of Personnel and Management, there was more than 40,000 individuals, federal workers, who had accepted the buyout program. We expect that number to increase, and that alone, just the 40,000, again, we expect it to increase. It's going to save the American people tens of millions of dollars, and we encourage federal workers in this city to accept the very generous offer.
The initiative has caused consternation among government workers who face daily verbal attacks by Trump administration officials. Unions and Democrats have challenged the legality of threats to fire civil servants. A federal judge in Massachusetts was to hold a hearing Thursday on a lawsuit by labor unions requesting an injunction against Musk's midnight deadline. The unions backing the suit represent some 800,000 civil servants. However, the campaign has already severely disrupted the huge departments and agencies that for decades have run everything from education to national intelligence. Nissan is looking to end their merger talks with Honda after the larger automaker proposed making Nissan a subsidiary. The Japanese automakers in December signed a memorandum of understanding to discuss an integration under a holding company to create the world number 3 automaker and compete in an increasingly tough industry. The talks have been complicated by growing differences and hit a wall after Honda said it wanted to turn Nissan into a subsidiary. Nissan will formalize the decision to withdraw from the MOU at a board meeting to be held before the company's third quarter earnings announcement next week. Nissan and Honda spokespeople declined to comment on the status of their talks, repeating earlier statements that they had aimed to finalize a future direction by mid-February. A scrapping of the talks raises questions about how Nissan, which is in the middle of a turnaround plan, can ride out its latest crisis without external help. Honda is Japan's second largest car maker behind Toyota, and Nissan is the third largest. The Netherlands has banned civil servants from using DeepSeek, the Chinese artificial intelligence or AI chatbot. The ban was imposed by State Secretary for Kingdom Relations and Digitalization, Zsolt Szabo, on the grounds of possible espionage. Amid allegations that DeepSeek stores personal information to share with Chinese state authorities, the Dutch Data Protection Authority also urged caution around its use. Earlier this week, South Korea and Australia also barred officials in certain departments from using DeepSeek. DeepSeek's latest model was released in late January to the public, causing the price of US tech stocks to sink. The company claims that its chatbot, which rivals leading platforms like OpenAI's ChatGPT, was trained for a fraction of the cost of previous models and used less advanced semiconductor chips. DeepSeek also says its product uses less memory and energy than its rivals, making it cheaper to operate. The French presidency on Thursday announced that the United Arab Emirates would invest billions of euros to build a huge artificial intelligence data center in the country. The French presidency said in a statement, the center will be the core of a new AI campus and will have up to a gigawatt of capacity, which represents investments of 31 to 51.9 billion US dollars. It was part of a larger AI agreement signed between French President Emmanuel Macron and his UAE counterpart, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, in Paris on Thursday. AI data centers are slated to stock data and provide the enormous energy required for the new technology. The campus will be the largest in Europe dedicated to AI, the presidency said. The project was announced and signed as global experts began debating the threats and promise of artificial intelligence at a gathering in Paris on Thursday and Friday, ahead of a summit of world leaders on the fast-moving technology. Thousands are expected at the Paris event, which aims to find common ground on a technology that has upset many business sectors in less than 2 years, as well as to keep France and Europe on the map as credible contenders in the AI race. "61 people lured by call center scammers to work in Myanmar were rescued and sent back to Thailand on Thursday. The Myanmar Border Guard Force handed them over to Thai authorities at the second Thai-Myanmar bridge in Mae Sot district of Tak Province. The group rescued from the Sri Koko complex in Mayawadi comprised 39 Chinese nationals, 13 Indians, 1 Kazakh, 5 Indonesians, 1 Ethiopian, 1 Pakistani national and 1 Malaysian. The rescued victims were welcomed by Thai Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Defence Putnam Wichayachai, who were on an inspection trip in the border region. Putnam said the government is assessing the impact of its decision to suspend electricity supply to 3 areas in Myanmar on Wednesday, where the criminal networks operate across the border from Tak, Kanchanaburi and Chiang Rai provinces. He added after the first day of the power cut, illicit activities such as call center scams in Sri Koko were believed to have declined by about 40%. In Thailand alone, call center scams have resulted in 557,500 criminal cases and more than $2.5 billion in damage, averaging about $2.3 million per day. In sports, no Malaysian team in ACC semi-finals as KL City goes down to Buriram. Stay tuned. Kicking off our sports segment this afternoon, no Malaysian representative advanced to the semi-finals of the ASEAN Club Championship or ACC 2024-2025 after Kuala Lumpur or KL City lost 1-0 at the hands of Thailand's Buriram United in their final Group B match at the Chang Arena last night. Going down in the must-win action, KL City head coach Miroslav Kuljanak started with a defensive game pattern compared to the hosts, who showed an attacking pattern. However, KL City's defensive tactics could only last until the 37th minute, when Lucas Crispim cleverly completed Thiraton Bunmathan's pass to give the hosts a 1-0 lead in the first half. Entering the second half, the City squad changed tactics to attack in search of an equaliser, and KL City almost managed to breach through Buriram's goal in the 48th minute, but Declan Lambert's beautiful pass failed to be completed by Patrick Reichelt. The win saw Buriram United advance to the semi-finals as Group B runners-up with 10 points. Buriram United is scheduled to meet another Thai club, BG Pathum United, in the semi-finals. Over in Saudi Arabia, Karim Benzema scored a last-minute goal to lead Al Ittihad to a 2-1 win over Al Tawoon on Thursday to keep the Jeddah side atop the Saudi Pro League table. Al Ittihad's Abdul Rahman Al Aboud put the visiting team on the board in the 21st minute after he and his teammates capitalized on keeping the pressure on the Al Tawoon defense. But the home side leveled in the final moments of the first half when a Musa Barrow boot went off a defender and into the back of the net. The match looked destined to end in a draw before Benzema stepped up 5 minutes into stoppage time to take Eke out of the win. The win keeps Al Ittihad at the top of the table with 49 points. They are 3 ahead of Al Hilal, who are in second on 46 points with a game in hand. Still in the world of football, Manchester United manager Ruben Amorim said it was his decision to take the risk and not sign any more players in the January transfer window. New defensive recruits Patrick Dorgu and Aidan Heaven are ready to play for United in Friday's FA Cup match at home to Leicester City. United made no other signings in the mid-season window to replace Marcus Rashford and Anthony after both forwards went out on loan. With United 13th in the Premier League, Amorim accepts he could come under pressure, but the Portuguese boss is not changing his philosophy. The former Sporting Lisbon boss added the club didn't want to make the same mistakes as they did in the past by signing players that didn't improve the squad.
What I feel is that the club is taking his time, and we know the urgency of the moment of the team, but I think everybody here don't want to make the same mistakes that we did in the past. So we have to improve the players that we have and to win some games, and then in the summer we will see. But like I said, we are being really careful with the wheel transfers because we did some mistakes in the past.
Ahead of the Leicester match, Amorim also confirmed Martinez will be out of action for the foreseeable future after the Argentina international suffered an anterior cruciate knee ligament injury. Former Brazil and Real Madrid defender Marcelo announced his retirement from football on Thursday, bringing the curtain down on a trophy-laden career that included 5 Champions League triumphs. Marcelo, 36, played for Real from 2007 to 2022 and left the Spanish club with 25 trophies in 546 games, including 6 La Liga titles. The defender scored in the 2014 Champions League final, which gave Real La Decima their long-awaited 10th European crown, kick-starting a decade of dominance where the club went on to win 5 more. He was also part of the squad that won 3 Champions League titles in a row between the 2015 and 2016 and 2017 to 2018 seasons. Marcelo also won 2 Copa del Rey trophies, 5 Spanish Super Cups, 4 Club World Cups and 3 European Super Cups with Real. He also captained the Spanish Giants towards the end of his stint in Madrid. Marcelo last played for Brazilian Serie A side Fluminense, where he started his youth and professional career, winning the Copa Libertadores in 2023 before leaving by mutual consent in November. He also made 58 appearances for Brazil, winning the Confederations Cup in 2013, plus a silver medal at the 2012 Summer Olympics and bronze in 2008. In MotoGP, Franco Morbidelli set the pace on the second day of the Sepang pre-season testing, clocking the fastest lap on Thursday. The Pentamina Enduro VR46's new recruit posted a best time of 1 minute 57.210 seconds to take P1.
Great day. It's fantastic for me, for the team to finish in P1. It's always great, and this is what the team deserves. And we've been working a lot, and that's a great thing anyway. That working so much, we were able anyway to pull out a great lap time. So I'm very happy about today. The feeling with the bike is there. We are trying to make it perfect, and it's going pretty well so far.
Monster Energy Yamaha MotoGP's Fabio Quartararo, Gresini Racing's Alex Marquez, and Fermin Aldiger, Prima Pramac Yamaha's Miguel Oliveira, Honda HRC's John Mir, among others, were also in action at the Sepang International Circuit testing their bikes. Ducati Lenovo team riders Francesco Bagnaia and Marc Marquez both crashed but were unhurt. KTM Factory Racing's Pedro Acosta also spun off during his test lap. The three-day testing ends today. Moving on to tennis, Carlos Alcaraz eased into the quarterfinals of the Rotterdam Open on Thursday with a comfortable straight sets win over Italian qualifier Andrea Vavasori. The top-seeded Alcaraz had far too much firepower and accuracy for Vavasori, ranked 317th in the world, running out a 6-2, 6-1 winner in just over an hour. Alcaraz got off to a flying start, breaking in the very first game and sealing the set 6-2 as the Italian pushed a forehand wide. The Spaniard again broke early in the second set, taking the third game with a sumptuous lob. A second break followed quickly afterwards as the Italian double faltered. Alcaraz wrapped up the match with another break of serve, sending a powerful forehand return to the feet of the Italian, who could only poke it wide. Thursday's victory was a stark contrast to his first-round match when he required nearly 3 hours to dispatch local hero Botic van der Zandschulp. Alcaraz will face Pedro Martinez for a place in the semi-finals. Meanwhile, Greece's Stefanos Tsitsipas saved a match point and battled from a set down to overcome local hope Tallinn Greekspor in a 3-hour marathon. The world number 12 eventually overcame spirited resistance from the Dutchman with a 6-7, 7-6, 7-5 victory in a match lasting around 3 hours. Tsitsipas now faces a quarter-final clash with Italian qualifier Mattia Bellucci, who shocked second seed Daniil Medvedev in a marathon 3-setter on Wednesday. Elena Rybakina of Kazakhstan powered past Tunisia's Ons Jabeur on Thursday to claim her spot in the semi-finals of the Abu Dhabi Open. After splitting the first 2 sets, Jabeur saved 2 match points at 6-5 in the third to force a deciding tiebreak. Rybakina was then finally able to wrap it up with a 6-2, 4-6, 6-6 win, 2 hours and 15 minutes. Next up for the world number 5 is Belinda Bencic, after the Swiss player put away Czech Markéta Vondrausova in straight sets, going 7-5, 6-3. That's it from us this afternoon. In our top story today, Trump imposes sanctions on International Criminal Court. Do join us again tonight at 8:30 p.m. on TV1 and Saluran Berita RTM for more news. Or you can stream us live on RTM Click's website and mobile app. Till then, I'm Darrell Baptist from the river to the sea. Palestine will be free. Have a wonderful day ahead. Goodbye.